vendors can start implementing their own solutions and branding them. All right? Please keep this in mind because it will be linked to the last slide. We also have some vendors or some operators who are quite interested in the race. So for example, we have the World Cup over here in Russia. So they hope to have 5G before that. Dubai, they just announced that they are hoping to get the 5G ready before Expo 2020. So we are hoping that we can have trials by then. The key players would be, of course, the ITU-R, because these are the people who will be deciding on the allocation of frequencies and the bands. You have the Next Generation Mobile Networks Alliance, because these are the people who will be implementing basically the 5G, who will be driving the implementation of 5G. The European Commission, because in 2012 they were the first to react on this, because usually the technology comes up from the United States. So this time they said, okay, we need to jump on board the first. And they started with the EC 5GPP and the 3GPP projects in order to correlate all of the players. We have national governments, of course, and you might understand why. And please, if you have relations with the government, do not wait till 2020 until the standard is ready so that we can start working on the procedure, the legal framework, how we do the bidding. Let's have this prepared before the standard is there so that we can move quickly. And the last key player would be the individual operators and vendors. For example, AT&T, they already announced that in 2016 they will have their first field trials. Nokia Siemens, for example, as well as Huawei announced that they are already doing their lab trials. So I think that would be the best time if we need to work with them, collaborate with them in order to come up and give our input on this. So if I did all of this presentation, it would be for two things, because first of all, during the last couple of days, again, we saw how the internet works. The IXPs, the DNS, all of that, that's brilliant. Yeah, just 1 minute. That's brilliant. But we overlooked on how we actually connect to the internet. And this is a key differentiator, because how we connect also dictates what kind of things we can do on the internet. So that was the first thing. The second thing is to raise awareness on where do we currently stand today. And I searched a lot. I spent a lot of time thinking, what should I put on this slide? And I only came up with one thing. We absolutely have no idea, especially in this side of the world, where do we stand from the 5G. So please, try to be more proactive on this level. And this is not only for mobile operators. This is also for ISPs. This is also for network operators, because accessing the internet is the real thing. And thank you.
Thank you, Jad. Thank you. Thank you for the interesting presentation. So we will follow on the 5G and the Internet of Things with Mr. Richard Lamb, and he will talk about the Internet of Things for the 5 minutes, please.
I move around a lot because that's the way I stay awake. So while he's looking for some slides, the slides aren't that important. The first slides basically were showing a recent visit I had to the Consumer Electronics Show in the U.S., so the premier, where you see the next new things. And first of all, I'm going to have to first thank and apologize to the previous speaker, because I'm going to look at this from a very, very different perspective. As an old-time engineer who's had a couple of startups, I look at the Internet of Things and I go, what the, whatever, right? What the F? What is this? Why do I care? This is a buzzword. I don't, you know, I went to the CES show. I ran into a woman who had a Japanese woman who had a company that had an Internet of Things device. It was a microphone you plugged into the Internet. And I couldn't believe this. How could you do this? This is the most ridiculous thing you could possibly do from a privacy point of view. I'm not your market. Right? Would have been just pictures. There's no title. It should be like 5 slides or something. So the title of this talk is Us and the Internet of Things. And so what I'm trying to focus on here is the fact that there is a fair amount of intelligence here regarding network engineering, regarding how we know what an attack looks like, how we protect various internet devices. And I don't have to say this, you've heard this many times before, right? That the Internet of Things, its biggest problem, and this was stated at the Consumer Electronics Show, it's stated over and over again, is that there is no security in this. As I walked the floor and I talked to the various vendors, I was really surprised how little they knew about us. I work at ICANN, so I'm also referring to identifiers, you know, internet addresses, domain names, private enterprise numbers, things inside SNMP for sensors. I mean, you know, this is all kind of our world in this networking world. We understand this stuff. Hold on a second. Hisham, I sent you an email them to me. So it's not that important because I only have 5 minutes, so I'm probably almost done with the 5 minutes. So what I would like to bring up is that if you look at the Internet of Things, it desperately needs some of our help. I got a light bulb for Christmas. You know, it's a Internet of Things light bulb. The first thing it does is it pretends to be an access point because this is the only way you can connect to it. A lot of devices, Internet of Things devices, work this way. They make usability more important than security. And I understand why. They need to sell the product, right? But such designs, from the perspective of the experts in this room, it's a scary thing. Would you really put this thing? Yeah, that's good. Would you really put this thing on your home network, on your internet? This is something that would be very easily taken over by somebody, used to monitor your traffic, used as part of a botnet, what have you. And this is where I think we need to have more of a dialogue with the vendors. Because these vendors, it's like the Wild West. I mean, the number of things I saw there. I mean, you've seen these little tags, right? These tracker tags that you attach to things. You attach to your dog, or I keep saying you attach to your lost husband or something. You could track these things. They make use of low-power Bluetooth and communicate with other people's cell phones with Bluetooth, and then use that to communicate back through the internet. Again, I don't have a Facebook account. I'm not a Twitter. I don't count. Okay, I'm not the target market. But these are things that, to me, are being done without a lot of thought. I don't blame the vendors. I think the vendors they're there to make money, so they're doing everything they can. And I kind of like, the Wild West aspect of this. I think it's a kind of neat idea. Anyway, this is what I saw just in one day there. Ridiculous. IoT. From my humble engineering perspective, from the trenches, this is just marketing, but it's going to happen, whether we like it or not, whether people like me like it or not. It's just going to happen, right? And my previous speaker was kind enough to already, speak about many of these things. Very critical devices is very uncritical devices, all on the same sort of network, using the same sort of technology. The TCP/IP stacks on these things have to be improved. Okay, I mean, I can see if I have one here. Nope. Okay. Oh, here we go. I mean, so you guys have probably seen these, right? Here's a $2 device on eBay. It's got a full Wi-Fi stack, full TCP/IP, DNS, everything on it. $2. All right. So some of us old timers, we've seen this Internet of Things many times in the past, but I think this time it's going to stick. And unless we get ahead of it and actually try to, share some of our expertise, I think we are in trouble. Almost done. Blah, 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 better mousetrap. Yes, smart guys in this room, come on, let's all make some money, all right? So one of the things, of course, I say, from my perspective, I'm the DNSSEC guy at ICANN. I'm not selling this, but, DNSSEC is a great thing. It secures domain names, right? You do this, and, you secure the domain name lookup with DNSSEC. So here's an example of where we could help. Now that we've secured the DNS with DNSSEC, let's assume this. And these Internet of Things, even this thing has a DNS lookup in it, okay, for $2. So we already have a mechanism to transmit information, to transfer, say, configuration information. And those of you who know some of the efforts in the US and other countries to do this smart grid thing, to make the power system intelligent, they plan on using DNS with DNSSEC to transfer secure key or configuration information. So here's just this in a pictorial way. You're guinea pigs. I'm just trying this picture. Let's see how good I am with the PowerPoint. Anyway, everyone knows the DNS. Everyone's all connected. But the idea, the point I'm trying to make here is that all these things have some ability to use DNS. And this is just one example. You guys are router guys. There's got to be other ways to do this. DNS is already there. DNSSEC makes this secure. And then that means that I could actually have directly communicate between different vendors and different devices across different, I can't use the word domain because that's confusing, but across different things, your electric company, your junk, toys company, your security company. And you can do this all securely using something like DNSSEC. So that's really the end of my talk. Yeah, DNSSEC is great, blah, blah, blah. DNS is a part of so many things that we're not aware of, and it is, to me, only one of many avenues where it would be great if we had a closer conversation with the actual vendors. I don't mean the big vendors. I mean the little ones. I mean the number of different IoT devices I see in these shows is amazing, and they all use relatively low-grade internet stacks, TCP/IP stacks, very low-grade routing logic to make these things work. Some of them, yes, they work through Bluetooth, they work through some other low-power communication, eventually get to the internet, but many also directly connect to the internet. So that's where I get a little worried. That's my 5-minute talk. Thanks.
Thank you. I would like to invite to the podium Fatima Demirel, and she will talk about Beyond the Net, safer and conscious use of the internet and ICT among K-12 children in Turkey.
Hi, and I'm Fatma, and this talk is in the lightning talk session. Because of that, it's just a 5-minute talks, and today I will talk about a project. We have applied for a project to the Internet Society Beyond the Net funding program, and they have accepted our project, and the name of the project is Safer and Conscious Use of the Internet and ICTs among the K-12 children in Turkey. And let's look at the aim of the project. We aim to raise awareness and foster a permanent change in the use of the information and communication technologies among Turkish children at the K-12 level. And when we look at the number, we see the reality, and we search the pattern of the Turkish children in the internet usage. And these numbers has taken from the EU Kids Online report. And they said that 25% of children in Turkey express statements that are perceived as constituting internet addiction. This means that they use the internet in the excessive amount. And the other knowledge is about their usage social media. The report said that 85% of Turkey children use social networking sites, have an account on Facebook, but 45% of children state that their profile is public and accessible to anyone. And the same report, according to the same report, only half of the children in Turkey know how to change their privacy setting on Facebook. And what we will do in this project, firstly we have some titles in that project which are using internet effectively in daily life and avoiding cyberbullying and accessing accurate and reliable knowledge and safer and social media usage and managing digital footprint. And how we will spread our content, firstly I have to say that we have some plain text, and we have taken these tasks from the Google project, and we will use this plain text and they will be converted to the instructional materials. And there will be also a portal, and we will include the whole instructional material in this portal, and its name is Çevrimiçi Çocuk, which means the online kids. And we will also have some storybooks to spread our messages, and these storybooks will be published and distributed in the hands-on training activities. And as I said, we will also do some hands-on activities. They will take place in a training session in the classroom environment. And let's look at the inside the materials. And we detect that Turkish children prefer to watch videos. And then we thought that we have to use the YouTube channel to spread our messages. And because of that, there will be some viral videos to enhance wonder, and then there will be some other videos, and these have to be enjoyable and short to gather children's attention. And these videos will be connected like a chain to keep their attention awake. And also they will take place like 30 seconds because they want to watch long videos. And we will not just spread our messages in the internet environment. We also do some training session in the classroom, and we will use some presentation and handouts in that session. And also I have to say that we will use also storybook to distribute them. And also we have a connection with the civil society organization to spread our messages. And we thought that we can touch more children with connection civil society organization. And this is all about our project. If you have any comment or suggestion, I can take. If not, thanks for your listening.
Thank you. We will take the questions after our last light talk. I would like to invite Mr. Alexander Ezvanin from MENOG, and he will talk about the connectivity of the country to the internet.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Alexander Sablin. I'm present here in MENOG community, MENOG program committee, but also a Russian non-profit which actually tries to unite our technical community, provide technical expertise for interested organizations, and also have a voice to different stakeholders who usually don't listen to technical community much. So the reason for the little study I'm doing is actually following. 2 years ago, Russian Ministry of Telecommunications and Russian Ministry of Emergencies conducted a training, announced that's what we do if somebody will try to cut Russia out of internet. They haven't published detailed results. They just said, okay, we will survive, but details actually was classified, so participants have not revealed it. But after a year, one of participants made a leak that actually it was training of how to cut out Russia from internet, done by Russian government. So everything is rumors, and civil society starts thinking what we will do, how we could measure, how could we find a moment of our government and somebody else will try to cut us from internet or restrict our services. So then they reached me, and we tried to do a little study of what's going on with our country's connectivity. We started very lean with all data which is available on our internet. So Rapstat provided us with statistical and registration information. Also, for free, we have routing information with BGP tables, with BGP paths, which is collected by different route collectors. So let's try to see and analyze fast what we could do. So the simplest way is just to count number of ISs which are registered at any country, and we see the statistics at right presentations from time to time. But now let's see how much of these ISs are seen on routing on periodic basis. So we could count different links between ISs and attribute that somehow. So as I said, I'm using Rapstat online API for getting registration information, and also I use Kaida's BGP stream service, which allows unified access to all route collectors, including RIPE ones for sure. So actually civil society is our first user. So that was founded of Russian Internet Protection Society, and among all statistics I've provided to them, they selected only one number. That's number of links from Russian autonomous systems to non-Russian autonomous system. So they published it on their website. Sorry, everything is Cyrillic because it's mostly now for Russia. But now we're doing this analysis on day-by-day basis. And for sure, you can see this connectivity sometimes grows, but there are some, on this graph, when they published it, the routing community asked question, what are these spikes going down on this graph? I have real data and something like. The funny thing is to present in this community that I've determined which are the source of these spikes going down. Actually, it was losing of connectivity of one Ukrainian autonomous system to Russian MSK-AX, but they reported me that this connectivity was actually loss of Turk Telecom lambdas going from Kiev to Moscow. So everything united here. But for this talk, I've made little further studies. First of all, I've analyzed not just Russian connectivity, but connectivity of MENOG countries. In addition to just counting numbers, we'll try to normalize statistics by dividing number of links to number of ISs in the country, just to make a little comparison. I will have one slide later. So let's see, well, it's two little letters about statistics of our host. The topmost line is number of registered ISs. The green line is the number of ISs seen on routing. This is Turkey ISs attributed by Rapstat, so maybe it should be very precise statistics. But orange line is a number of BGP links between Turkish autonomous systems and some non-Turkish autonomous systems. So this line could show growing connectivity of Turkey to the rest of the world. So the other ones interesting from here. Sorry, orange line is the number of connections between Turkish ISS. So it shows connectivity inside country, and light blue one, no, dark blue one, is the number of connections of Turkish autonomous systems going outside. Another two lines is the number of Turkish autonomous systems have connectivity to non-Turkish one, and the number of non-Turkish one having connectivity to the Turkish one. So a lot of numbers, but everything grows, so it's okay. Also, we had a great presentation about IPv6 transition of Yemen today. Actually, this is statistics for Yemen. So the number of autonomous systems in routing, it's just 2 autonomous systems. So transition of Yemen to IPv6 will be very easy. But you can see only for till the last year, only one of these autonomous systems had connection to the global world. To the rest of the world, it's a green line. Looking to the global road collectors, actually, these 2 autonomous systems of Yemen does not have connectivity between each other. Or maybe we're not seeing, it was just a little blue spike at the lower level. So also we could look at such statistics of a country which is on agenda of all news channels. I will not comment, just look at slide, maybe later, and try to analyze what does it mean, and coincidence with maybe some events. But as I said, I've tried to analyze a number of links inside any country of MENOG region. So we have a lot of talks about IXP these days. So these parameters could show how effective connectivity is inside each country. The blue line at the bottom of the graph is the number of internal connectivity of Iran. But I think that it does not show that Iran have very poor connectivity inside its country. I think that just road collectors do not see this connectivity. So maybe no autonomous number or ISP from Iran have peering with road collectors, so we just do not see Iranian connectivity. So I know another one project which is founded by National Science Foundation of United States, done by QAIDA, which should show us, detect and show us great internet outages. It was running for 3 years, it mentioned on QAIDA site, but it's still not publicly available. They have only one slide with Iranian situation presentation. Maybe you know some others, please contact me, it will be interesting. And for sure we have a lot of interesting work to do, because now we just count links. For later work we could analyze the length of path, can count, measure the length of IS passes going outside country, going to specific other sets of ISs like tier 1s on content providers. It could be interesting. Well, every collecting data tool like BGP Stream and Atlas and I think STAT now have real-time interfaces, so we could try to analyze this country-wide situation on real time. Have a smart online tool for you to, and also maybe in far future have more analysis with real life situation, with news feed, with Twitter feed, with maybe telecom maps. Well, it's way to go. If you have questions, suggestions, I'm ready. So thank you.
Thank you. So before we conclude, any questions for our 3 gentlemen and Ms. Fatima regarding their presentation? Any other questions or any other comments or recommendation regarding these 2, 3